So I thought this week, as we've started the sleep course, the way that the sleep, rest and energy course, basically nobody cares about sleep. What you care about is rest. So if I could wave a magic wand, and if I could endow you with the benefits of rest without sleep, you'd prefer that. So sleep is a way of recovering, and it's a thing known as a refractory period. So what a refractory period is the amount of time that you need to recover to be able to apply the same amount of effort that you did at a previous time. Let me give you an example. So let's say you're a weightlifter and you do your 180 kilo deadlift. If you kept trying to lift 180 kilos, after you might manage, if you do one, you might manage two, possibly manage three, and you're not going to be able to lift them. And if that's your maximum lift, you've just done a very dumb thing. But so let's say you try it the next day. No, it takes 3 days to recover from heavy weightlifting, especially if it's your legs. So squats, deadlifts, things like that. You need 3 days. Now, you've got the same thing with running. If you're a 4K runner, the thing that you don't do when you get back from your 4K run is another 4K run. You need this refractory period. And we all know that, and we accept it, but we seem to assume that the mind and things like cognitive ability, your capacity to solve complex problems, keep many variables in your head, recall information. So this is something that suffers from sleep deprivation, the ability to recall information. If you sleep insufficiently, you won't even lay your memories down. As you'll discover if you do the sleep course, there's a really interesting study where what they did is they took the volunteers who were all undergraduates. Lord knows how they performed in their exams, because what they did is they wouldn't let them have any dream sleep, and what they discovered was that they forgot everything that happened the previous day. So dream sleep, I'm fairly confident, but pretty much dreams are there. It's the byproduct of the memory construction process. So you take away people's capacity to dream by waking them up every time they go into dream sleep and they're not able to lay any memories down. So what we actually want is the benefits of that. We want the rest. We don't really care about the sleep. And so subsequently, that's where meditation can come in a lot of very useful ways. And I'll be sort of coming back to this. But what it gives us, the rest gives us, is these different sorts of energy. So there you go, there's cognitive energy, ability to remember, ability to solve problems. There's emotional energy, which we did on Saturday, and that's on a podcast. So I think it's reasonably worth listening to. It's called Managing Emotional Energy, and that's on the Loving Awareness Meditation Course podcast. And then we've got physical energy, which we all know about, and then we've got what I call spiritual energy. And I use that word because it's the right word, actually. So spirit is will. It's the thing that causes you to act on the universe instead of you being the recipient of whatever's happening to you. So you're either acting on the universe or the universe is acting on you. That's how you measure your spiritual energy. And so the more effect you have, the more ripples you're creating, the more powerful your spiritual energy. And you see that actually diminish when you're overwhelmed and tired. So, and all of these things, these other things also interact with each other: stress, worry, and anxiety, and that affects our sleep. And then so that has a deleterious effect on all of these forms of energy. So what I thought I'd cover today, very briefly, is cognitive energy, which is because I've already given you one example of it, which is how sleep, in dream sleep, allows us, it's part of the process rather, of laying down memories. And so if you get insufficient dream sleep, your memory's impaired. Now here's the thing, okay? So hands up, anybody who wakes up with an alarm clock. Okay, some of you. Yeah. So there's two things that arise from that. The first is you're sleep deprived. If you wake up with an alarm clock, you're sleep deprived. What it means is you have to set the alarm clock because you're not allowing your full requirement for sleep to complete. And so subsequently, you're breaking into the latter part of your night's sleep. Very often, you find that people who wake up with an alarm clock have no sleep issues. They go to bed at night and they fall asleep. Not all the time. But if there's any group that doesn't wake up in the middle of the night and doesn't have any difficulty getting to sleep, it's people who wake up consistently with an alarm clock. And the reason for that is because they're sleep deprived. So what we call a normal sleep, I mentioned this in the sleep course, there's no reason I shouldn't mention it here as well. What we call a normal sleep, there's actually nothing normal about it. It's the behaviour of, so going to sleep, not being aware that you're waking up, and then getting up like 8 hours later or whenever it happens to be, 7 hours later, 6 hours or whatever. That process, if you have to use an alarm clock, that's the behaviour of someone who's sleep deprived. It's not it. When we say normal, what we mean is typical. It's typical in the modern economy for us to have to do that because we've got to do this working day, or we have to do these things that are in, get the kids to school. We've got to get to work. We've got to do stuff. And so the theory goes that you just use that word just. I like whenever I hear just, there's an instant red flag pops up in my head. The theory is you just go to bed earlier, right? One of the reasons people don't do that is because they end up in a work sleep cycle. So what they want to do is make the most of the evening and spend some time with their loved ones and watch the TV or listen to the radio or have some sort of leisure activity. And so subsequently they're going to sleep late enough so that they have to wake up with an alarm clock. Now, like I said, there's a couple of things that are a problem with that. One is the sleep deprivation, which is limiting your cognitive ability right the way across the board. Sorry, but it is. And the other thing is that it's breaking into your dream sleep because there's more dream sleep at the end of the night. So this is a kind of sting in the tail for the go straight to sleep, wake up with an alarm clock group. There are also a group who are also sleep deprived who wake up and can't get back to sleep. Wake up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when you know that really you want to get sleep about 8 o'clock. That's a different thing altogether. That's the out of the remit for today. So what we want to be able to do is to create a refractory process, remembering that refractory is a recovery, it's a rest, replenishment, recuperation. Notice an alliteration there. I can see an advert coming on. The 4 R's. 5 R's because I'm Robert. Robert's replenishment, recuperation, refractory and rest course. Not anytime soon, I think. And so that, we want to be able to get hold of that dream sleep somehow or another. And the way we do that is with deep focus. I'll be doing this on the the sleep course. So you know that I've been teaching for quite a while now, actually since about since about 2020. Kind of giving away my age there. I think I'm 100 years old, just look young for my age. Since about 2020, I've been teaching these different focus. And what I've been trying to do is to bring focused attention, which is the single point focus, the inner body, which is something that I've returned to, begun doing it the way that the originator of the meditation meant it to be done, which is Eckhart Tolle. This is inner body. There's balanced focus. So you've got inner body focus, you've got balanced focus, which is the third eye. You focus on the space between the eyes and you become aware of internal and external phenomena arising without feeling that you need to be focused on one or the other. So you're able to be aware of the breath and sounds at the same time without actually trying, which is never, the trying word is never good in meditation, to be aware of sounds and the breath. And so there's soft focus, and I often use the term gentle focus as well, and there's sharp focus. So deep focus is at the end of the practices, the noting practices that I've developed into noting the quality of thought. And I've kind of made a few enhancements there.